Hey, long time no see. So today I'm going to be talking about Gemini Storybooks. We've been putting quite a few things online about it. It's not new, but it's pretty impressive what stuff you can do with it, especially for language teachers. I think it's really very impressive. The gist is, if you go into Gemini, you pop a prompt into onto the side here, and it's going to be producing very quickly some storybooks with some illustrations. So that's pretty amazing. Okay, let's have a look at what it looks like.
La quête des Lumières. Tom et Sandra sont de grands amis. Tom est très sportif, il adore le football, et il ne manque jamais un entraînement. Sandra, elle, est très intelligente. Elle passe ses heures libres à la bibliothèque et elle ne regarde plus la télévision.
Okay, so you can hear that the language is pretty good. It's a bit fast. I think hopefully there will be a moment where you will be able to slow that down a little bit. You can change into a male voice if you wanted to have to. That's no problem. You can put it full screen and turn the pages. You can see it's nice illustrations. The characters are very similar to the ones done before, so they are the same characters, which is great. Okay, so maybe, especially because it's done by AI, so they're keeping the same stuff, and really puts them into context. So that's really impressive. What you want to do though is you really want to make sure that you are sticking to maybe a certain type of script. You want to be using certain verbs, you want to be using certain tenses, you want to be having different representations on the side, and all of that is possible if you have a very big prompt, if you're a very good prompt, and the more detail you put into it, the more detail is going to be using into the output of the book. So I've decided to split a bit of vibe coding. And okay, so I did a little bit of vibe coding, so it means that I'm not really a programmer, but by tinkering a little bit with some large language models, you can actually get something looking like you've done some good programming. So I've got this here, and you can see that I can target my audience. So in the menu, let's say we're going to want to have upper primary. Here, story type of language. So we could be having cultural story, for example, several possibilities. What is target language? We have several choices here, and if your choice is not here, you can click on other and you will be able to write the language of your choice. Let's say that we want Spanish here, CRFR level. We probably want to have it A1 at that level there. Story key elements. If you wanted to add some specific things here, we have two characters. Let's say that I will have someone like Marco. You can see I've done that before, as impatient, and Anna, who's 13, who's clever. In terms of grammar focus, you can have several tenses in the story. I've decided to just in this case to first of all to have the present. I could have an extra extension with maybe the negative form, the negation. You could potentially add some vocab here. You got some vocab themes there as general thing. So we're going to be maybe choosing travel and tourism. If I wanted to have a bank of vocab, you can type it in, or you can copy and paste from somewhere else. And I think what's really important, especially in the depiction of the characters, is what they're going to be looking like. And you can have some diverse ethnic backgrounds. You can neurodiverse characters, and all of the rest that you have here. So I think it's really important to have all these people could be slightly different. And I'd say that we're going to have in this one diverse ethnic backgrounds. Once I've done that, I could add some more things, such as the hair color. We've got glasses, certain color of glasses and stuff like that, and other details you can add in there where it's not necessary to do that. I click on that button. It's going to generate my prompt. My prompt is generated now. I just copy the prompt, and I just need to copy and paste my prompt into Gemini, see how it goes. Okay, so I'm creating a new story again. I click on the gem, and I'm going to be pasting and send, submit, and it's going to be taking a little bit of time, obviously, to be creating the story as well as the images. You can see it seems to be going at the speed of light. There we go, we have a story. So we are going to be having a quick look at it. I can make it full screen. How about I do that? Then start turning the pages and listen to it.
El Festival del Sol. Marco y Ana están de vacaciones en la ciudad Sol. Es una ciudad grande y colorida. Marco tiene un mapa. Vamos, quiero ver todo, dice Marco. Ana mira a la gente y las tiendas. Ella no tiene prisa.
Okay, so again, quite quick. We have some beautiful illustrations here. You can see some lovely images and simple vocab too. Being lost, lots of lovely people there. I really like the illustrations, are wonderful. Okay, so what can we do once we have that story there? Obviously, we could have it read in class for different groups of people. You can potentially, display it on the board, and instead of clicking on the listen because it goes too fast, the teachers could be reading that story and things like that. There are other options that you could be using there. In the past, there used to be kind of a way to try to print off the story there, but it was not very efficient. The mighty Jodel, though, as ever, has been very resourceful there and showed that an app will be able to export the content of this storybook, images and text. So what you have to do, you have to go onto Gemini Storybook Exporter. Okay, so it's the Chromebook, the Chrome Web Store. You have to go to. You download it onto your computer. You will have it on your bar there, and it will be appearing afterwards into your storybook. You can see I have got some buttons there: export PDF and download images and text. So two possibilities with that add-on, which is free. I can click on export PDF, and technically in a few seconds I should have the PDF of my story with the pictures and the text. And there we go. So we have the cover and the back, and you have the characters as well as the text. Okay, so that is a PDF, which is pretty cool. Part 2 of this is a possibility also to download images and text, and you can do that too, and you'll be able to have on one side the pictures. Okay, it's a zip file, and you will also have all of the text. So if I click on this, you can see that I've got here all of the content of the story. Okay, and here if I go back into this, I will have all the images here. I can share with you one of them. The first one appears, that's the one. Okay, so that's really, really good and very useful. Okay, so what can I do with the content of this? Well, plenty of stuff. I would start potentially with a quiz. So if we go into a Google Doc, I copy the text that I downloaded earlier on. Okay, so I've got my text here. We're going to be using an app called Brisk Teaching, which is fantastic. If you haven't heard of it, I highly recommend you to be going onto it and checking out all the stuff that you can do with it. Again, it's a Google extension. You can also use it in Microsoft now. It's all compatible. So I click on that, click on create, and I'm going to go into quiz. You notice that I've put the text into my Google Doc here. Okay, so possibility of creating several things you may see, but we're just going to be concentrating on the quiz one. Click on next. The quiz I'm going to be creating is going to be in English. It's probably easier. It could be as a Google Doc, a Google form, or now it could be also a Microsoft Word. If you're Google School, as a teacher also, it's probably much easier to be using this because it's auto marking. But obviously, if the children don't have access to computer stuff like that, it's probably easier to create a little quiz with a Google Doc, for example, or Microsoft Word. But for the sake of it, we're going to be keeping the Google form there, and I am going to be asking create a quiz about this file. It just picked up the stuff from me there. Because the story is probably for lower years, I'm going to say it's for year 6. You can see that year 7 is also there. Let's do year 6. I could select another one also that if I wanted to, I click year 6. Multiple choice is a good one. 15 questions, just in case some of them are not to your liking. You can get rid of them. And Brisket. Normally, it takes just a few seconds to organize that little quiz. You're going to see the way it works. Just always be a little bit patient, and oh yeah, there you go. Straight away, you got a title, and there we go. Okay, you have all your questions. Obviously, you have to check it, like any output by the large language models and AI. You always have to make sure that it corresponds to what you are expecting. The next question there. Obviously, I need to inspect all of them. I could be doing all sorts of things with that quiz, but it could be leading us to another day. I'm just going to get rid of this. There we go. I've got my quiz there with quite a few questions. Can change number of points if I wanted to. It's a multiple choice. You can see it's already been selected. I can share it in Google Classroom straight away if needed. It's nice and simple. I can also print it off. There's many possibilities. So that would be one way I could be using that book. Okay, there are lots of tricks and actually a genuinely a large amount of workflows you can follow in Jodale's post on LinkedIn. There's a lot of exciting stuff you can do with it. I've got my own take on different things, but I picked a couple of ideas from him and then show you in real life what it looks like. It's always good to have a video on it. So the second one is you can transform that PDF that you created and make it a PowerPoint. You notice that the speech is a bit too quick. One way to remedy to this is to actually record yourself reading it, so it works really, really nicely. So you have lots of different websites online which are free that you can use in terms of changing your PDF into a PowerPoint, for example. However, the file is a bit too heavy if they don't accept it, so you have to pay for it. So you have to be quite careful with it. Just mentioned something called PDF Gear, and this is what you can do. You can change your PDF to a PowerPoint. And now I'm going to be downloading the file. And we'll see all together what it's going to be looking like. Right, you recognize the story. Click on that, and you can see that the text is not sometimes the way that you would like it to be. The dot, the full stop, sorry, not the dot, the full stop there is not the right place. So you might have to do a little bit of editing to put things at the right place. The positive things is even sol. You can see that sol, for example, here. It should be, oops, I got rid of the S. You can see that you should, it's not on the same line and stuff. The positive thing here is you can potentially make the font a little bit fancier if you wanted to, or bigger, and there can be some chewy, for example here. Why not? That was the first one she came up, making about 24 if it, and pop it here. Okay, and so on and so forth. You can continue doing that and keep up editing onto it. Obviously, if you want to get rid of the little red lines, you have to make sure you change the language into Spanish. Nice and easy. You have it at the bottom here. Obviously, you all knew that, but just for the sake of learning always some stuff there, we'll do that. Spanish Spain, click on OK, boom, done. My red lines disappeared. Okay, so you have that. You could use that not only as a teacher as reading it. I think would be a good idea. The second bit that you can do also is you can record yourself and put some sound files into it, reading it, if you want to put that online and exchange that. I mean, share it with the pupils. They can listen to you reading the story and stuff like that. Would be quite a nice thing also to do. But you could potentially also there have the pupils, depending what level they are, pupils reading the story themselves and recording themselves to do that. And in order to do that, it's pretty straightforward. You can just use your computer, any computer. If you have access to a computer, an iPad and stuff like that, or whatever, you can create some sound files and you can import them straight away into your PowerPoint. You can insert an audio, and you will have to do it into your audio browser and pop it in there, so which means that when you're going to be opening your PowerPoint, you'll be able to read it. Maybe we should try to attempt to do that to see how it works. But this is a simple thing. This is free, and all on the, if you use Microsoft, or what type of computer, using an iPad, using a phone or something like that, you can record your voice and you can still pop it into it afterwards. It's pretty straightforward to do, and it's also free. There are some tools online that you could be using too, but I think these are probably the easiest in terms of being free and in terms also of being really handy to have without downloading anything. We'll do a short demo in a sec. Okay, so I'm on a Mac. I'm going to be using something called Voice Memos. It's really straightforward. It's already on your computer, and you will be able to record yourself reading something, and after we'll be able to transfer that file onto PowerPoint. So let's do that. I'm going to be doing some Spanish here. I'll do my best accent, see what happens. Click on the red there. Let's go. Marco y Ana están de vacaciones en la ciudad Sol. Es una ciudad grande y colorida. Marco tiene un mapa. Vamos, quiero ver todo, dice Marco. Ana mira a la gente y las tiendas. Ella no tiene prisa. Okay, so I was quite quick. Obviously, depending on my audience, I don't want to do that. I want to be going probably a bit slower, but here for the sake of the video, I'll do that at that speed there. Okay, so click on done. Okay, I've got my recording. I just need to drag it onto that desktop and it will be appearing there, and this way we can actually pop it into our PowerPoint. So I've done that. I'm going to go into my PowerPoint. I'm going to audio, and I want to do audio from file. Go into my desktop, and that's a new recording. I insert it, and boom, it's going to be there. Okay, which means that when I open my slide, normally I should be able to play it. Marco y Ana están de vacaciones en la ciudad Sol. Okay, so teachers can do it, pupils can do it, it's fine. So you can do it one at a time, but as Joe mentioned also in his document, you could be recording a video of yourself reading it. Obviously, it takes less time to do that. It's really up to you. There are many ways of doing stuff. So I quite like doing that little by little. So I have time to be doing things and reading things properly, and maybe it takes a bit more manipulations, but I quite like doing that way. But also, you could be sharing the burden with the rest of the class, for example, there. So one could be reading one page, the other one could be reading one page. You could do group work, and you could have different sound files to put there. It will be a whole group reading the story, one slide at a time. Okay, if you want to go to level up and you want to have a narrator on each of these slides, why not? You could be creating some characters on using Vidnoz, so you can have an avatar, and there's lots of different possibilities in the avatar sections. You have the lights, you have these people there. Obviously, because it's a bit more cartoony and the audience is slightly different, you can see that I've been using one of our pictures. You can upload a picture and have them talking, but most of the time you have two characters, which makes things a little bit more complicated. So how about just having a narrator there? Motion avatars, you have real people, as I mentioned before. I think it's quite fun to have a probably a more cartoony type of character like you have here. These people, you can have a baby also reading it, you can say. It's really up to you. I like, there's many of them. I quite like this one. This one is quite nice. This one I used before. There's lots of cool ones we can be using. So how about we use this one here? So I'm going to be taking...
I'm Lydia, your playful and artistic friend.
Okay, Lydia is great. So we are going to be using Lydia. You have to make sure that you use the right type of video. If you want an Instagram type like this one here, portrait, or you want landscape, okay, I pick portrait. Maybe that was not the right thing to do, but I can still change it now. So I'll show you very briefly. I've shown that already in some of my videos, but I'm quite happy to do that again. It's quite fun. So I can change it maybe here, or actually TikTok, landscape, Instagram. There, that's what we could have. We don't really need to have the subtitles here, obviously, because we already have the story onto the slide. But we're going to be using here, we're going to have to change it into Spanish, obviously, Español. That was not so long ago, but there we go. So Español, which is really fun, is the fact that you have lots of different types of Spanish, which is great. So going to be Spanish, Spain. Okay, so
Vidnoz ahí convierte tu...
just pick your choice, and now we need to put our text. If it's there we go. we have the text and just put here, and it's going to be reading things. What you could be doing is you're only entitled to have only 2 minutes for free every day. So you could be putting one short video at a time. You could be putting all of the text maybe, and after you have to do a little bit of editing. It's really up to you. It will take a little bit of time at the beginning, obviously, to be doing all that stuff. It could be the pupils could be doing that, provided they are allowed to be accessing this platform. Again, we have to be very, very careful with the use of these types of platforms. Probably have to be 13 plus and things, because it's all about data and all the data you're using and stuff like that. So we have to be very, very comfortable with all the data that being used in classes and classrooms. So I would say maybe this will be more a teacher's tool than it will be a pupil's tool. So in that case, the teachers could be doing that as a little avatar. You want to send it away and don't want to be reading your text. It would be quite a fun thing to do and to have on a class anyway. So for the sake of it, we're just going to be keeping this. When you have 16 seconds, we could be trying to be reading the whole thing, but we're not going to do that. And you have the options off, which is great. Having the speed of the speech probably a bit lower. And we are going to be clicking on generate now. Okay, so I've got my video, it's ready. I just need to download it. Download 720. And it's done. Okay, so I need to go back to my PowerPoint. By the way, PowerPoint obviously could be uploaded to Google Slides if you are a Google school. So it's never an issue, and it should be working that way too. Okay, so I'm going to go back there again. I'm going to insert, and I'm going to insert a video this time around. Video from file. It should be in my downloads, hopefully, somewhere. Lydia. And it's really big, but I can make it small. Obviously, it's a put in the corner there, or whatever you fancy. Maybe in the middle, it looks probably a little bit better if you can see that little line there. Boom. So when I'm going to be putting a full slide there, hopefully.
Marco y Ana están de vacaciones en la ciudad Sol. Es una ciudad grande y colorida. Marco tiene un mapa. Vamos. Quiero ver todo, dice Marco. Ana mira a la gente y las tiendas. Ella no tiene prisa.
Okay, so that's lovely. You can see that the speed is really good. It obviously is much better than what it was at the beginning if you were reading it straight away to the website. And it just adds a little bit extra here. Obviously, you can tinker with the settings, and you can have the voice, the video starting as soon as the slide opens. It's very straightforward to do. So that's another possibility of having that sent maybe and shared with the pupils. They can have that. They can do the little quiz afterwards. There's many other ways, and I do recommend, obviously, this is my take. Then many other possibilities. I do recommend having a look at Joe's documents. So hopefully this was useful, and I hope you will be able to be using my little app to make your prompt probably a bit more, let's say, interesting and meatier, so you can get whatever you want from the output. Okay, and I will share obviously all of that with you, and feel free to comment, to add some question, and get in touch with me if you think that the apps works nicely. And if it doesn't, please do let me know, and I'll be happy maybe to change a couple of things on it or something like that, and see where we go. So again, Storybook Prompt Builder, it's on a Wix website. It's free, so therefore you're gonna have a little bit of advert on top there, but it should be really straightforward to be using. Copy and paste, pick up all the elements that you need, and off you go. Start creating some exciting storybooks with the content that you want and stuff like that. By the way, you just as a I'm gonna go back, get out of it, and go back into the prompt. If you're not happy with the content of the images and stuff like that, feel free obviously to tinker it on the side in the prompt, because it's not set in stone. If there's some stuff that you're not happy with, you mention that to Gemini, and Gemini will be changing some stuff there. Obviously, it will be a little bit more complicated to change the text. It's feasible also, but tinkering the text will take probably a bit longer. If this stuff is you're not happy with the images and stuff, I'll highly recommend you to be typing it there on the side and change stuff. The fact that you'll probably have picked more things or made your prompt a bit more meatier, as I mentioned before, with this tool probably will get the stuff that you want, probably 90%, 95% out, instead of getting something and just starting tinkering and wasting probably a bit more time. So again, the better the prompt, the better the output. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.